welcome to another edition of the Gator Nation Film Breakdown. I'm your host, James DiVirgilio, and today we'll be looking at Florida's offense versus USF's defense. It was another week for Florida and another week of not so great film. I'll explore what went right, what went wrong, and what this could mean for Florida's game against Tennessee. As always, if you like this content, follow us on social media. Drop us a dono using Patreon, where you can become a patron to support our efforts to bring you more of this content all year long. And listen to the podcast every single Monday, where we drop new episodes analyzing the Florida Gators. Without further ado, let's take a look at what was another very questionable night on offense in the Swamp. Let's start by looking at a play that occurred early in the game and a play that we talked about on last week's film breakdown. Kentucky doing an excellent job of covering, and USF did the same. There's a couple of reasons for this. The major one is that teams are obviously employing a similar strategy, not allowing AR to run, and they're going to overplay his right side here. And you're going to see on this film breakdown that USF does precisely the same thing. But on this particular play, Florida is going to roll out, as we've seen them do many times before, to the right, the preferred side for a right-handed quarterback. And this guy right here was a player. Number 11 for USF, played a great game at linebacker. After watching Florida's linebackers play in general, watching USF's play was much, much better. He's going to read. He's going to read and react and see that AR keeps this ball and rolls out here. And Florida is often a victim of, I'm going to say, elementary play design when it comes to routes. I don't want to, put a meta commentary out just yet on what Billy Napier's passing offense will look like, but the early returns on Napier's passing offense is that it is not what I would consider to be something that I prefer, something we displayed towards Dan Mullen, as we called it, Dan Mullen 2.0 and 3.0 at Trask, where you begin to run coverage beaters on every play. You begin to figure out what the defense is doing pre-snap. You have a beater on. So if they're in cover 3 or 4, you're going to run a play that gets max value. It seems like early on that Napier is running what I would call a more regressive style of offense, where he is running plays that have patterns that work against a variety of defenses, but do not defeat a defense. So it's sort of taking a middle path, if you will, in that regard. I don't like that style at all. I think that's a very outdated way to run your passing attack. I'm not going to say that's exactly what's happening yet, but I want to get that out of the way now, because you're going to see in this film breakdown that I'm not going to be impressed with a variety of routes that Florida they're running. It's just, again, to me, this is not what you're seeing in modern football when it comes to the influence of air raid and really just taking advantage of the fact that what a defense is going to do. You have to do things to punish it maximally, and they cannot be right if you attack the defense through the passing attack correctly. You can make them wrong. Now, with all that being said, Napier does an excellent job of making teams wrong in the run game. That's where he really excels. His running game and play designs for the run are really nice, but this kind of stuff has not been working out great. USF was all over it. Florida's going to send Shorter out deep. They have his safety right on top. That's dead. And then Henderson here would be wide open if, of course, Florida's not doing what they already put on film against Utah and Kentucky, which is sending all 3 routes to the boundary, and no one else is over here. Now you're going to see a play later where this doesn't occur. That's a good play for Florida, but here it occurs early on. I'm not really sure why. Again, you could make this a read route, right? You could have Henderson run this route here, and you could simply say, look, read the coverage. If you find a soft spot, just sit right here. And then AR could sit here and hit him and have a nice game. But instead, he's going to run himself into coverage, and take a look at the spacing that we have here, right? This linebacker, by being underneath here, is making this throw very difficult, especially on a rollout. By rolling your quarterback all the way out like this, you lose the ability to throw the ball easily to the middle of the field, which is generally most open on a play action. It's one reason why I mentioned in the previous video and on the podcast that I would really like Florida to start going under center more, something Billy Napier almost never does. But most NFL teams do it, and most teams that run a lot of 12 personnel do it, and it's for good reason. You can run play action and keep your quarterback in between your tackles and threaten all parts of the field. When you do this, you take away an entire part of the field you're not going to threaten, and you make this throw difficult as well. To me, that's not ideal. That's what happens here. And AR now takes this check down. And the benefit of him rolling out, of course, is he could attempt to take this linebacker on one-on-one and then run. I would rather see I would rather see him come and attack the line of scrimmage here like this, attack the line of scrimmage vertically, and now you're going to put maximum pressure on these two guys. Make this linebacker make a decision. Henderson's going to sit right here. He's still wide open. That would give you a high-low attack here and here. Instead, he settles for this play, which I think is the play that USF wants and also the least optimal play for Florida. And that is what you're going to see. Now, there are certainly rumors that AR is injured and that he injured himself a couple of weeks ago, and he's been playing with a slight injury, and perhaps that's why he doesn't run that ball there. But in general, if you break out with this much space, I'd rather see you put pressure on the conflict linebacker here, and he doesn't. He actually gives him exactly what he wants here. So this play, again, doesn't work, hasn't worked now for 2 weeks in a row. Once what we saw on film with Utah was there. Teams have stopped this. You can view this similar to what I talked about last year with Florida's speed option against Alabama. And once that was seen, that play rarely ever worked for the rest of the year. Teams are going to take away what you want to do most, and they know that Napier likes to do this, and he keeps trying to do it, and so far they're just shutting it down. All right, since I controlled this film review and what plays we're choosing, the next play, no, in this case, the next play is actually the next play. Florida's going to run something I just talked about. We're going to get in the pistol, and we're going to actually run a traditional, as far as traditional goes, play action, meaning we're going to keep the quarterback inside the tackles here. That's going to give us the entire field to be able to throw to. And this time we're going to slip out Zipperer, a guy who was productive for Florida last year and I think has been kind of quiet through the first couple of games right here. And now AR is going to read like he should. He's going to read high to low. Back foot hits the ground. So far this all looks good. And then come around to his target. He's going to overthrow this ball just a touch in this direction rather than here. But this is a nice start for him. Obviously, at this stage of the game, all the Florida fans, including myself, were wanting to see how he was going to respond. What would his confidence level be like? You were at the game. You already know how that looked and what went wrong, but you're going to see them in the film breakdown. This is a nice game, though, for Florida, and a nice job with play action. Of course, a wide open receiver, which is nice to see. Florida has not had a ton of those thus far this year. 3rd and 7 now for Florida. This is a set that I think Anthony Richardson is a lot more comfortable in. I'm going to talk on this video about how he's not seemingly very comfortable throwing out of bunch sets where Florida's lining up multiple or at least 8 or 9 or sometimes even all of their players in this window. He's much more comfortable here in an empty set or just spreading it out in general, even if Florida's in 11 personnel or 12 personnel. The more the field is spread for him, the better. And obviously, in this situation, when Florida's going empty, this is much more like what he would have been running in high school, and of course, what I think he's comfortable running on film. Now, he's not going to hit anything here, but he just looks a lot more comfortable when he's not in 12 personnel. His fundamentals look better, his read looks better, his eye scanning of the field looks better, and right here he's going to open up to his right side and take a look, and then he peels off this quickly because in reality, this is just a decoy look. Although these routes are all live, he wants to hit shorter, coming over this linebacker here and in between the cover 2 safeties. But this linebacker, again, number 11, is a good linebacker. He takes that throw away. Now, at this point in time, something I'm seeing with AR that is a disturbing trend is he is not reading the entire field. Previous years right now, I would see him begin to go through the progression and find his check down or find another option. Instead, he's just going to pull and run. And the unfortunate part about this is, although you cannot see this on your screen, at the top of your screen here, you're going to have Naquan Wright, who's completely unguarded. On this side of the field, USF is going to play a cover 4, so they're both going to bail here, and they just give Florida this throw. Completely unguarded Naquan Wright in previous years has been a great pass-catching running back for Florida. He doesn't even look there. He basically only wants to go here to shorter, and I'm seeing that more and more on film for Anthony Richardson, is he is no longer reading. He's locking onto a target, and although he looks this way first to try to create a window for himself, once it's not there, he does not move that helmet around. I can't see his helmet moving to read other players. He then just decides to escape, despite the fact that he has an excellent pocket. This is when you want to see him staying live with his footwork. Stay live with your footwork. Check the right side of the field again. If he did, it would have been an easy first down, and Florida would have still had a chance to score a touchdown. Instead, it results in a field goal. Florida down 7-3 now at this point in time. Being down 7-3 in a game where you're favored by 24 or 24.5 is not a big deal in the first quarter. It happens all the time, and then typically you run away. That was not to be the case, of course, on Saturday night in the Swamp. But on this play, another play action here. faking a split zone on the run. Great protection. Ricky Parasol is going to run a hitch route, and he is going to be open. The timing is not right. We talked about this last video. The timing for AR has been off. He's not trusting himself. Traditionally, when you see that plant foot there hit, he'd be ready to throw, and now we're seeing a hitch. Take a look at his arm here. Hit, timing, okay, doesn't see shoulder. Shoulder's not open. He's now going to come to his next read, but it's slow. It's very slow. Hitch again, then the ball's out. Now, in reality, he could have hit Parasol right here. His hitch, Ricky's hitch, was here, and then he works back to the quarterback, because when you're in a hitch route, you do not want to stay still, because obviously the defenders are going to undercut that. So great job here, working back to the quarterback after you've come off your hitch to make this throw a safer and better throw. But AR should be letting this ball go right here. Back foot hits the ground. You're going to read shorter. Here's shorter. Read him. He's not there. Your helmet's got to snap to your next receiver. It's Ricky. And then once you do that, you're going to then re-drive with the right foot. Nope, not here, not this, not that. Re-drive with the right foot. Helmet on, drive, and throw. Instead, little hitch again. And that's there. So again, that shows me how uncomfortable he is, how tense and tight he is. That should have been a very simple throw, one of the easier throws for a quarterback to make, throwing right to the chest, right to the numbers. Very comfortable, very safe, nothing to worry about, yet he's hitching, he's moving, he's not comfortable, he's not driving that down. And of course, that was out of, right, like I talked about, these bunch sets. I just don't think he's comfortable throwing like this. He does not read the field well. He only has a couple of options. And if you're asking yourself, why is that? It's pretty simple. For any quarterback, reading plays from a bunch set is much harder. Why? Because when the defense is spread horizontally, the further you spread them, the easier it is to know what they're in, because they can only be in so many things, right? If we move our receivers all the way out here like this, and now the corners have to match them, then what's this linebacker going to do? If you move someone else out here, does he go all the way over? Does he stay halfway between? And again, if you watch videos on previous Florida offenses, which I've done on this channel, you'll see how much clearer it is to the quarterback what kind of defense they're in. But in this kind of bunch, he has no idea if they're going to drop back and drop 7, drop 8, if they're going to blitz. It's much harder to figure it out. Where do I go with the football? And on top of that, he's got to run a play action play where he's going to turn his back, basically. He's going to turn his shoulders here and then lose sight of the field. Now he's got to turn back around, locate the field. He doesn't know what the defense is doing anymore, doesn't know where the linebackers are. I think this film and the film thus far this season is indicating that he does not like this. This is not working for him. Now we're going to find out what Napier does about this. It seems to me Napier is a system guy. He wants to run his system, his style, and not necessarily a coach who is going to be tweaking things to work for players to a large degree. He's going to instead spend this next year or 2 or 3 years bringing in his guys to run his stuff. Now there's nothing wrong with being a system guy. Plenty of system guys will win. It may not be the highest level of coaching expertise. The best coach can take the players and personnel and make them better and just mold the system to them. But again, I don't think Napier's that kind of guy, and I'm speculating here. He could be. It's too early to say that. But thus far, it seems quite clear on film that he does not like this style, and this is Billy Napier's style. This is going to be a problem for the rest of the season, since this is the formation Napier wants to run 40% of the time. To have your quarterback who just doesn't seem to like it is going to be an issue. So it's going to be something to watch to see if Florida attempts to move away from this more, or if they attempt to find ways to make him more comfortable, allow him to stay in shotgun, keeping his eyes downfield rather than having to run some play action like this. In general, there's just a lot of questions without answers right now. So I'm speculating, just kind of giving you some insight into what's being viewed here, and then what Napier has generally done in past places. And obviously it's a storyline we'll follow all year long. First down and 10 now for Florida. This is going to be a really nice check from Anthony Richardson here. This is not going to be a running play. This is actually going to be a pass play. It's going to be a play action call again. Instead, he sees that these linebackers are both taking their steps to the inside first. So he has good reason to believe that USF is expecting a run this way. He's going to check out right now. There's his check. Tell the lineman, check. We're going to run this play to the left. We're going to go to the weak side of this defense. We're going to see what they bring us. And here we go. Split zone. A lot of good blocks here. Again, Florida did a great job running the football in this game, and they really should have just run it probably the entire game. They averaged 8.1 yards a carry. And here comes Montreal, and look at this hole. Look at this blocking, right? I mean, these guys are just gone. Here's Garage. He has no one to even block. Great lock up here from Ricky. There's just nowhere. I mean, he's got no one to block. That's what you want to see. You want to see your offensive lineman just running down the field with no one to block. Then it's a foot race, and Montreal's going to take this one all the way to the house and finish this play off. So really nice check at the line there from Richardson. Napier gives his quarterbacks a lot of freedom to check the play when they want. Essentially every single play, for the most part, they can check the play to something better. That does allow for a higher ceiling down the road. It allows all of your players to be dialed into what's happening. That is a benefit. I like that thought. However, as we're going to talk about later in this film breakdown, there are times in a quarterback's development where perhaps you don't want to give him that kind of control until he proves that he can handle it. He's getting you into the right calls, and then he's essentially worth giving the keys to the car to on that. But regardless, this is a great check by Richardson, a really nice play call, smart decision, and he gets credit for this touchdown just as much as Montreal does because he put them in the right look. And that is really a really important thing for a play caller and a quarterback, is get your team, your players into the right look against the right defense. And what's not showing in the passing game is definitely showing in the running game. Florida's excellent at running the football. Billy's got a great feel for what to get into versus whatever fronts he's facing, and it's very deceptive. So excellent stuff in the run game. Again, very elementary stuff in the pass game so far through 3 games. This is an example of a nice play design here on 1st and 10 for Florida. Unfortunately, we're going to lose right here with Zanders. We're going to lose this block, and this is a key block to get. We need this block. There's the play fake. There's a freshman locking up nicely. Travis Etienne, very nice, but unfortunately this block here is going to kill this play. We're sending Zipper out. He is absolutely wide open over here. No one is covering him. That's definitely where this play is designed to go, but this is already dead. So there's no chance for us to snap that to the backside, and we talked a lot about how Florida was rolling out to the right. We're generally preferring the right. This play was going to be a nice one here, and it's not going to happen because we lose contact right there. So that's an example when you're watching on film. Is the play call good? Is somebody open? Now, you cannot see this on television, but the answer here is yes, somebody was open, and the replay they show you on TV is Anthony Richardson getting tackled. So if you're watched at home, you have no idea that Zipper was wide open for probably a 20 or 25-yard gain on this play. That doesn't happen because we miss a block up front. So in this case, this is a good play call, bad execution. This is what you want to see. This is what I'm looking for in these film reviews, is how many plays look like this versus how many plays are executed well and do not have receivers open, or how many plays are run against defenses where the routes are not optimal, or really we're not attacking in the most efficient way. And so for this particular play, it's a good play. Get a check mark. Unfortunately, we missed execution right here. We mentioned on the podcast last week that Florida's best 2 running backs were Montrell and Trevor Etienne. And of course, that's going to be true in this game as well. And here comes a nice counter run from Florida. So we have a guard H-back counter right here to the outside. It's going to fool USF. Now, USF's linebackers still do a lot better job than Florida's. Notice the play read right here. He quickly reads exactly where this is going, but the beauty of these counter plays is here comes the H-back to soak him up. We get a really nice block here, right? There's Garage working high to the side, and then Etienne's off to the races, and a nice tackle made here. But still a first down for Florida. Easy money, easy gain. Nice play design. This is AR's best throw of the game, in my opinion. On time, nice. And of course, again, this is not in 12 personnel, right? This is a look I think he favors, not in 12 personnel. We're going to have Ricky Parasol right here running a corner route, and he's going to get cover 2. He's going to wind up getting cover 2. Now, at this point in time, pre-snap, he has no idea that's actually what he's getting. In fact, right now they're showing cover 3. They're showing cover 3, and against cover 3, a corner route would not work, right? Corner route would not work against cover 3 because this corner would soak that up. Now you could run a smash concept where you can run a hitch, and then you can run this corner route, but even then the safety's going to shade this side. That's not going to work either. So it depends on what the scenario is and what's going to happen, but they rotate. Check out the rotation right here, pre-snap, right? They're going to pre-snap rotate now. We're rotating. He's coming back. And now we've got cover 2. These corners are going to stay down, or it could be cover 4, but in this case, I'm telling you it's cover 2 because it is, and he opens up right away. Here's the open. Read the safety. He now knows right away I've got too high. Now I need to come take a look at this window. Boom, right here. Check the corner. Is the corner squatting? The corner is squatting. I know I have my corner route. And just look how much different he is throwing that pass. You tell me if this is the same quarterback that I just showed you out of 12 personnel. Take a look at him right here. Back foot hits. Here we go. He's already made everything is perfect. Open. Read the safety. Check. Read the corner. Check. Go to the corner route. Check. Deliver a dime. Boom. Strike. Perfect. Dead in stride. You tell me. Is he a lot more comfortable doing that than running Napier's offense? I think so. I think Napier would be wise to mold this offense more to Anthony Richardson if he wants to stick with him as his quarterback, rather than running so much 12 personnel, especially on a team that does not have great playmaking tight ends. AR is just not comfortable with that. So we're going to see if Napier has it within him to make a pretty significant change to an offense that he's been running really consistently for several years now. 1st and 10 here for Florida. We're going to take a deep shot to Shorter, who's just going to run a fade up the sideline. Another example of Richardson here not turning his back. Again, he's much more comfortable with this. It should be known I like the concept of the pistol. I also think it's important for quarterbacks to learn how to play with their back turned to the field. If you want to play in the NFL, you have got to get comfortable learning to play with your back turned to the field. Now, when you turn around, identifying where the coverage is. It's a skill. It's something to learn. AR is young. Again, he's struggling mightily with it right now. But let's watch him here again on a play he's comfortable with, despite the fact, right, he knows he's only really going to one guy. But right away, takes the snap, IDs the safety, hold the safety to the middle, snap your head around, right foot down, deliver the ball. Perfect. That's perfect. Again, this is a quarterback who we talked about last week is really struggling with confidence. That right there is perfect technique yet again. This is actually a great ball. Shorter gets held. Otherwise, this ball is going to hit him in stride for a touchdown. That's fantastic. Everything was absolutely excellent there. Florida winds up getting a pass interference call instead, and they'll take that as an automatic first down. Very next play now, 1st and 10 for Florida. And we know, obviously, that USF is going to load up to stop the run. And we know down here that we seem to think that Shorter, who's obviously a big, strong guy, is going to be creating a lot of separation on these fade routes, despite the fact that he hasn't displayed that yet on film. Now, he's a big guy. You can run back shoulder with him. You can use possession routes with him. You can just throw him a catchable ball and a jump ball. But he's not exactly a guy that's going to wiggle past you and give you a really nice throw lane. Anyway, we're going for it and going for it quite a bit. So here's what we're going to do here. An immediate quick game throw. AR is going to open up. Now, this is just way too soon, right? He knows he has single high. His safety rotates here towards the double receiver set. Both Ricky and Xavier Henderson run nonsensical, non-existent routes. This is just your typical high school football play. We're going to take our one-on-one matchup with Shorter. Now, I talked about last week how I do not like this for a million reasons. There's so many other things you can do. If we know that we have man defense where the safety's rotating over here, how about running something like a slant wheel with your best receiver running the wheel? How about that? That seems pretty great. That seems a lot better. There's also 14 other route combinations I could give you, some of which I talked about last week. Instead, we're content to just on first down, take this quick game and also throw this ball way too soon. I mean, he hasn't even made a move yet. And we're putting this ball out here. But on top of that, we should know by now that teams are not going to let their edge defender do anything other than stop AR from running. This guy doesn't care what you're doing over here. He's assigned to AR. He's right in his face. So even if we want to hold this ball the appropriate amount of time, you got a DN collapsing right at you, making this throw almost impossible, and AR misses it by a yard or two. I just don't really like this stuff at all. And Florida misses an opportunity here on first down and 10. 3rd and 15, Florida's offensive line has been performing very well in this game. If it were me, I'd spread these guys out. I'd spread us out here, and I would make this much more difficult for the defense. I'd spread them out. So if they want to play cover 2, we're going to declare what they're doing. We're going to pull all these guys out here. We're going to give AR a nice, simple look. We're going to lighten the box. Again, the more athletic you are, the more field you want, right? You want to get players in space. We're going to lighten the box so they have to worry about AR now as they spread the field. Instead, although we like to go with 4 receivers, we're going to keep this nice and tight. And on top of that, we're going to run a very safe play as we empty this out. Great, now we're empty. Now it's even better, right? Let's spread these guys out further. Let's put a lot of pressure on the defense. We're more athletic than you. Florida has 40-ish 4-stars and some 5-stars to go along with it. USF has 4. Let's make them earn it here on defense. Let's not shrink the width of the field so that we make this game smaller, make it bigger. We're more athletic, use all of the field, but we're not going to do that. And on top of that, AR is going to complicate matters because he's going to immediately look at where the ball is going, something he does not generally do. And there's just no chance for this play working. There was never a chance of it working, but now it's really not going to work because number 11 here, who reads every single play Florida's running, is going to read your helmet. Look, there it is. Okay, I know this play's got to be going this way because he never looked anywhere else. So rather than work here first, open up, eyes here first, move him over, which then will allow this block to get him from Torrance, and then hit this. And then if you do that, this may work. Because take a look here, we're in good shape. That actually may work, but it's never going to work when the linebacker beats Torrance to the play, and that's on the quarterback. So I have no idea why AR elected to stare him down. But again, a very safe and conservative play. A play that I don't like for a million reasons, when I think obviously when you're getting good protection, you can run much more complicated stuff. You can attack a defense that's probably going to be in that situation to cover 4 or cover 2, and you can take advantage of the fact that you have superior athletes. But Florida elects instead to go with this east-west screen. It's not run correctly by AR, and we waste players, and we waste an opportunity, and we settle for a field goal. Except they call a penalty. Right? So if you're watching this game, there's this ridiculous penalty called here at the end. USF was not happy about it. Yep, there he is, not happy about it. Exactly. He's literally letting him know how he feels about it. And Florida has new life. And with that new life, Florida will come out in a formation we've seen before. 3 receivers tight to the sideline. Again, this to me feels very high school-like. I mean, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm probably going to just put a guy in the box and say, go ahead, throw this 3-on-2, because I don't think you will. Because either way, you're pinning yourself to the sideline. But regardless, if you're USF, you have to know a run is coming now. But Florida's run designs are nice, and here comes the split zone. This is really good stuff, right? If you're a linebacker, you have a variety of keys. You could be keying on the running back, you could be keying on a guard, you could be keying on the guard in the center, or you could be keying on the H-back. And this is going to take advantage of all of those keys to read where the play is going, to confuse you. Here's the H-back. Do I look at him? Here's the running back coming this way. Do I look at him? And USF ultimately gets this wrong. They follow the guards, and they follow here, the H-back, and now this ball is going to be handed to Naquan, but the safety comes down. He's here, but see, he's still peeking over here. Not totally sure Naquan has it, and all of that window dressing, despite Kingsley getting pushed back here pretty significantly, right? He gets driven back off the ball. Nice play by their D tackle. It's now a foot race. He was late to react, and now Naquan's going to win that. So that's what's great about the run design. It's awesome, right? I think I want to see that on the passing game. I want to see more complex stuff like that gives the defense a lot to think about, that takes advantage of what's happening. Because again, I think Billy Napier is a really, really good run game play caller and play designer. Now, this is a play that AR likes. Again, more in a personnel setting he likes. In 13 personnel, 3 receivers, 1 running back. This is much more comfortable for him. No play action, low snap, but he's going to quickly get his eyes up and see where the safeties are. And he's working a 3-on-4 situation over here with a linebacker that could make that a 5-on-3. So he needs to make his reads quickly. He is going to wind up having a better throw available here to Xavier Henderson, but he's going to jump the gun a little bit and not let this play out. I think, again, this shows Tim being a little uncomfortable, despite the fact that he has good protection. A little uncomfortable, I should say, a lot uncomfortable just in general with his state of play. And he is going to elect to take his check down route, where in reality, he's okay right here. Back foot hits, right? Back foot hits, drive. I have protection, climb one more time, climb one more time, check that corner or that out route and hit it. Do not throw this. Check one more time, just give me one more AR. And if he did, he would have had a 20-yard gain. Instead, he settles for just a short 3 or 4-yard gain. Again, I think that's an issue of confidence. If it's not a perfect picture in his mind, when he's looking at what's happening, he's immediately thinking safe throw. And of course, that's human, that's expected. Again, he's a young guy, but obviously on film, other teams are going to see this. Hey, if he doesn't have a first look that's really clean, he's probably not going to throw it, and we can use that to our advantage when we're game planning him. 3rd and 10 for Florida. We're going to get shorter running a dig route here. They're going to give him a little bit of a help here with the hitch route, although Florida does not execute this clean enough to really make. There's your hitch, there's your dig to make this rub occur. AR is going to open up to the right, and then again here he feels some pressure off his right side, so I'm not going to hold this one against him. He feels a little pressure on his right side, his left side rather, sorry, right side of your screen, his left side. Feels a little bit of pressure, but this is a great job of cleanup here by Florida's offensive line, who's been really good. Again, look at this protection. This is something I think if I'm coaching AR, I'm trying to tell him on film, listen, trust your O-line. You're super athletic, but if you want to make more plays with your legs, you're going to have to prove you can pass the ball downfield. That's going to open things up. If he hangs with this here, again, one more climb, just like last time, one more step into the pocket, he's going to see Shorter, who's streaking across here. He's going to complete this pass for a first down. Instead, this is perfectly fine, right? Picks up a bunch of yards with his feet. Perfectly fine. No judgment here with that. Obviously, being an athlete, especially in college football, you want to use your legs, but it's important for us to display this because, again, this is a good pocket, right? This is a very good pocket. Climb into this pocket. Do not take your eyes off the field, right? Now, again, nice job here, but don't take your eyes off field. Higher level quarterbacking here is step up again, stay on this path, and come to your read that you know is coming right across the field, right? This is the guy that's got to be open. If he cannot win on a dig route across the field, if he cannot get leverage, he's your possession receiver, he's your big body, you have nobody here to mess with you. It's a dream scenario. Just step up and then stripe this ball in here. All right, we don't do it. We get the first down. Nice work here. Good run. Again, you're not going to be sad about that, but it's something you want to see him do better. You'd rather have him check that dig, and if he doesn't like it, then run. That'd be optimal. But either way, first down for Florida. Florida now going to another set Richardson likes, but again, I hate to kind of laugh there, but I don't understand this. With everything we know about modern football, and again, you can run, I should say this, you can run bunch sets with great success, right? There's a lot of ways to win, I should say this too, in football. Of course, all of you know listening to this channel that I prefer spreading the field and running more of an air raid style when it comes to passing, or at least using those concepts. But of course, Sean McVay's offense with LA is heavily bunch-based, and there's all sorts of backside blocks. It's very tricky to get a beat on who's doing what. They can use Cooper Kupp on the slot or on the outside. They're very creative with how they employ these sets. We saw Joe Burrow do that with Cincinnati. That's not what Florida's doing. So I want to say that right away. You can run bunch sets with great success, but Florida's not doing that. Instead, Florida's running high school stuff. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's the route combinations we're going to run here. It's first down and 10. We have a great offensive line. We've been stonewalling them, right? Well, we're going to run a screen. Check this out. I kid you not. There it is. Block, block, screen. And on this side, we're going to run a little flat route. And then Shorter, who's bracketed, is running what looks to be an option route, where he can either go in or out, and he correctly chooses to go out because he has a defender here. AR thinks he's going to go in, and again, perhaps this play was for him just to go in. I can't know that, but regardless, he throws the ball here, which was actually on time and probably would have been completed if he turned on the inside, but those are our route combinations right there. First down and 10, overmatched opponent, right? Look at what we get here. I don't know if you see this. We're going to get a single high safety look. That's a single high safety. Again, we're spreading them out. Single high safety. We have better athletes, right? Single high look, and this is what we like to do right here. This is it. This is what we're doing. Tell me how that makes sense. It does not. But what I like to see, spread these guys out, right? Spread them out. Make the same thing happen, and then make these windows humongous because there's way more field to work with. But so far, it's not something we're doing. Third down and 7 for Florida. Again, another personnel grouping that he should be more comfortable with, he being AR. Back in 13 personnel, yet again, take a look at the width of our splits here. We are playing the football. We're taking the football field, and we're taking like 25% of the football field away. And we're allowing USF to play cover 3 within this little box. Less space in a little box. Move this box further, all the way to the sideline. You have more space in a bigger box and more room for your athletes. Case in point is look at the route combinations we run here. Ricky is going to come here on a dig. Now imagine that this dig started from over here and there was more space. These linebackers wouldn't be as close together. There goes your cover 3 safeties. There you go. And now you have Shorter on a corner route, which is going to be taken both by the linebacker and the safety, so that's not going to be there. Now again, that'd be fine if you had a bigger spacing. If you're spaced further out, then when Ricky comes across here, this linebacker is all the way over here because he had to go out and he had to shade your slot receiver. But instead, he didn't have to because you kept him starting here. Now he's close. Now this window's tiny. Now AR quickly recognizes that that is not going to be there. But rather than, again, this is a confidence issue, rather than do what we've seen him do before, and you certainly know Kyle Trask at this, but back foot hits the ground, that's not there. He's going to do a little pump hitch. Like, see him? He wants to throw it anyway. Yeah, nope, I want, can't do it. All right, so instead, right foot hits. Throw is not there. Where do I immediately go? If that throw is not there and the linebacker shifted, you know that you have this dig over this linebacker. Snap the helmet, deliver the ball. Well, he still is uncomfortable with that window. I don't like it. I don't know. Okay. Boom. Head snap. Boom. Look at this. Look how quick this head's up. Wow. Right? Ready? Look at this. Bam. There. See ya. That's good. That's a nice head snap, but now we're late. And in his mind, what do you think happened? This linebacker, who's doing a great job, I'm going to keep highlighting him, right? He shifted out here, but he's just watching the quarterback's eyes because he's in zone. He's not playing man, he's in zone. So as soon as his eyes shift off him, he then comes to where he knows the next most likely route is, which is right here. That's good defense, great individual play. And since AR is now late, this window, look how fast he throws this ball, by the way. Head snap, boom, ball's out. He throws it as quick as he possibly can. But this defender, this linebacker, is coming across the formation, and that is an easy interception. You don't want to throw late over the middle for this reason. And this is why this is late, right? Hitch. That's gone. The timing is gone. The play is now dead. Now you must take your check down and live to fight another day. Again, football is all about timing. Right foot hits. Profile, here you go. We talked about this before. You've seen this before. If you're new to the channel, here's what we're going to talk about is quarterbacking 101. Take the snap. ID the back end. What are my safeties doing? What coverage do I have? Go to your first look. Timing. Right foot hits. Timing. Is the throw there? If it is, drive and throw it. It's not there. If it's not there, second read. Nope. Don't throw. Check down. Dead. Right? You can't do it. That's a regression on AR's part. Again, for AR, we've seen really high highs. We've seen really low lows. But that's a regression there on film quarterbacking wise. That is a lack of fundamental skill. It's something he's uncomfortable with. He's doubting himself, and that's evidence right there. You've heard me say before, of course, the film never lies. That's why it's so good to look at it. And right now we can see the picture and portrait of a quarterback who's not comfortable, is not trusting his own reads, even when they're simple. And I think in large part is not comfortable with how tight Florida's sets are. All right, 3rd and 9 for Florida. USF's going to wind up dropping again into a cover 2. As a quarterback, cover 2 is one of the best defenses to attack in the modern era. It's one of the easiest to beat. It's why you don't often see cover 2 zone played fairly often at all, especially in the modern game, because it's very dangerous. There's too many holes, especially vertically, that you can attack. One being here, one being here, one being there on the other sideline, right? So you can attack the rail throw down here. You can also attack the deep middle over the head of a dropping linebacker. So Florida is going to run to what I like to call these rail routes, right? And basically you're going to clear this corner, snap your head around, and look for the ball somewhere around here. We saw Trask throw these really well. And the rest of the routes that Florida runs are totally nonsensical. They're going to go off your screen, but Ricky is going to get just wrapped up in here and sit right where the underneath coverage is. And then you're going to have Zipper run a route where he would be totally open if he just sat here, but instead he's going to basically run a whip out right into the other linebacker, and that's interesting, and we're going to have a whole lot of nothing. Here he is. Take a look at him here. He's actually wide open for an underneath spot. Now it's 3rd and 9. He may not get there, but then he's going to take himself right back into the zone defender who passes off. Again, here you go, right? There's Ricky. He's going to pass this off. Here's our guy, number 11. He's going to pass this off to this guy because we're playing an underneath zone. We're dropping 7. And that's going to allow him to take this route. So we're putting basically no one in conflict. We're essentially just running routes right into people. Despite the fact that pre-snap, they showed you they're going to be in a cover 2 or cover 4, which you can easily design beaters for, one on either side. Not a hard thing, right? That's part of the benefit of spreading it out. Instead, we don't do that. Now we have these rails on either side. So right away, if I'm AR, I'm going to notice that these safeties are in cover 2. You can't see them, but they're back here. And I'm taking one of these rails, right? I'm taking one of these rails, and I'm going to take this one. Why this one? Because take a look at the spacing over here. This guy's further off. He's up close. I'm going to take this rail route down here. I'm going to fire it in there. He sees the safeties right now are in 2. And now it's hard for me to even know what he's looking at because no one is actually running a route there. I'm imagining he looked at Ricky Parasol who went over here, but Parasol is never open and he's passed off to someone else. He doesn't, from my recollection, doesn't make a single other actual read. I mean, look, he's still looking here. No one else is there. I told you we're running. We're running 2 rails up the side, and this is an empty set, something he should be comfortable with. And then he just fires this ball out of bounds to no one. despite the fact that your check down, the most explosive player on all of Florida's offense, next to AR himself, Trevor Etienne, is literally doing jumping jacks. Take a look at him. Here he is. So I move the circle. Here you go. He's doing jumping jacks. Hey, I'm open. I'm open. Please throw me the ball. Hey, AR. Hey, listen to me. Look, hey. Nope. Now you give it to him. He's got one-on-one with a ton of space. You think he gets this first down? I sure do. I sure do. Again, this is baffling to me to watch this kind of regression from AR. It's just baffling, especially because I don't love this play design, but this is actually pretty simple. And in fact, you had 2 routes you could hit. These are hard throws. Against cover 2, I think there's a lot of plays you can run that are way better. We've talked about these before. In general, I highly favor attacking these safeties 2-on-1. You can basically send 2 vertical routes at them. You know this corner is going to stay low. You know these guys are staying underneath. So why not instead, right? Simple example here is you can have Henderson go first and he can run a corner route, and you can have Ricky go first, second, and run a post route. Then over here, you can just take this guy and run him out. Boom, touchdown. One of these is a touchdown. Why? Because these guys are all going to stay underneath, and this guy is going to stay low. It's a touchdown. That's a layup and a touchdown when you have this kind of protection. We have yet to show anything like that on film, and it's very frustrating. On top of that, again, this is a viable throw, and AR is not looking at it. He stares at the middle, misses a check down, misses an opportunity for a first down. This is very suboptimal quarterback play, and obviously not ideal. So we're not seeing growth for AR right now. We're seeing regression. We're also seeing an offense that is certainly, I don't think anyone expected it to be Dan Mullen's passing offense, especially when he hit the heights of that offense with Kyle Trask, right? I said so myself. That's something we may never see again here as Florida Gators. But this so far, you can only say it's frustrating. 3rd and 6 for Florida. Florida is going to elect to bunch up even more this time, leaving 50% of the football field open despite the fact that we are going to pass, make this hard for the quarterback, make these windows extra small. What benefit do we get? None, in my opinion. If you're the defense, your job is to keep the offense in between you. So we're going to widen out here, right? We're going to keep everyone in this funnel in here. You tell me what benefit we just got from doing this. There isn't one. All right, so with that being said, here, what are our routes? We got a little flat route here. We're going to soak that up with a linebacker in zone. We got Whittemore is going to be open over the top of these 2 linebackers and underneath the dropping safety. He's going to be open. And then we have a mesh route, which I love mesh routes. We talked about this last breakdown. We have a mesh route coming here, which is not run well at all. Okay, I don't know what that is, but that is not a mesh route. On a mesh route, you want these guys to run right past each other, right? That's not there. And if they did, Henderson's open here. He would be open. But on top of that, we're running a mesh route with a hitch route right here. So imagine if Shorter instead takes this further. Now you can 2-on-1 this guy. Instead, even if we complete this pass to Henderson, he can make a tackle. He can guard both of these guys by himself. So that's not great. First look over here. That's not there. Second look comes around here. He sees Whittemore now. He's seeing Whittemore. He sees him. He's got a lot of shuffling going on. And there it goes. He sails it right over his head, right? I mean, this ball is so far over his head. It's over the safety's head, okay? So I want to pause it right here because you can kind of see the blurs. That play's dead. This is here. But again, he's got to put this throw over this linebacker's head right here. We'll look at his footwork as to why he missed it. And then look at this. What are we doing here? And we got one guy guarding 2. Makes no sense to me. This makes no sense to me. This is making it really hard on AR, but more importantly, we have great protection. This is phenomenal protection. If we spread this field east and west with this kind of time, we should be shredding them. AR now, right foot hits. I don't like what I see. Get your head around to your next read. He does. Here it is. Next read. He gets stuck there. Now he's uncomfortable. Shuffle, 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 uncomfortable, shuffle, shuffle. I'm flat-footed. I'm throwing. Right? And that's, again, not what you want to see. He's taking a big risk. He's late over the middle. Not what you want to do. He's uncomfortable with this throwing window. He's got pressure coming around him, and he's going to just fire this ball off. And thankfully for Florida, it just winds up being incomplete. But it's another stop for USF. In a game in which Florida's only winning by 3, and they go another third quarter not scoring a single point so far. No points scored in the third quarter this season. All right, 1st and 10 for Florida. It's been a while since we've tried to roll out to the right, so it's probably time to try that again and see if that works. There's your play action, and we're going to roll out to the right. And what do you think this defensive end is going to do, or this linebacker? If you're betting that they're also going to guess this play is going to the right, you win. Here comes the defensive end. Perfect. Way to pursue his outside foot here, his outside shoulder, right? He wants to be first to this spot. Now we're covered up here. We're first to this spot. And although you can't see it on your end, every single Florida receiver coming over the top here was actually being led by a USF receiver. So they were running the play better than Florida was, and all AR can do is use his athleticism to get away and throw the ball away. So another rollout to the right play that does not work, and I'm sure that's the conversation going on here. It's, hey man, we've seen that play. When are you going to retire that play? USF's going to play cover one man again here, trying to stop Florida from running. Again, at this point in time, you really should have said or could have said that Florida could have run the ball every play with what they were averaging. We're going to take a shot here. I'm going to open up. We're going to read the safety. Again, he's not having to run a play action where he has to turn his back, so he's much more comfortable with this. And he also knows he wants to go to his fade. Now, this timing is much better on this one. 3-step hit, turn, ball's out on time. Of course, when the ball's out on time, your throw is going to be much better, and this is a good throw. Now, I talked about Shorter earlier. He's not a guy that's going to run past you, and he does not. In fact, the receiver, the corner is running his route for him. This is perfect corner positioning. I mean, he's ahead of him. He's inside of him. He's pushing him out here to the sideline, right? We talk a lot about keeping guys outside the numbers. If they start outside the numbers, that's fantastic. But AR is going to throw him the kind of ball you want to throw a guy like Shorter. You want to throw this ball high so he can then come back and get it, which is what he does. First to the ball, jump ball, great catch. If you're going to throw balls to Shorter on these fades, that's the kind of ball it's got to be. Let's watch here in the one-on-one camera. Again, Shorter is not going to win this matchup at all. This is a USF corner. No offense to him, but he's obviously not a Bama corner, a Georgia corner. He's not an SEC corner, but he's on top of Shorter, right? Shorter's not running away from him, but he is doing that, and that's a great play. Good ball, great play, but this is what Florida basically has to do to complete passes, right? This is not easy. I mean, if I'm USF, I'm thinking, hey, great, you can try to complete 5 more of those because I'll take my chances. All right, it's been too long since I've showed you a run play. Florida's been very successful, of course, at these, and these are the best plays that Florida runs. Take a look at Barber filling in for Tarquin here. If he has to get, we've talked about this on the first video. If you didn't see that video, of course, go back and watch the Utah video. I talk a lot about the zone runs, what they are, how they work. We're going to skip that stuff here, but Barber knows he has to beat him to the inside, and if you can't, this is exactly what you do, right? You're going to go low here, and you're going to knock him out of the play because he can end this play. And you don't want to have that happen. So Barber, a young guy, playing really smart right there, takes him out, and then the rest of the O-line just does its job. Here's Garage locking up, possibly holding. Don't look at that, right? And then we've got Kingsley here pushing him out. We've got Ethan White shoving his man out, and we've got Torrance doing what he does, which is bodying people. I mean, Torrance is an absolute wall, right? You're not getting past him, and then we got Montreal doing what he does, which is always seemingly finding the best place to run the football. If there's one really encouraging thing thus far about Florida, despite there's a lot of questions being raised this season, it's that Billy's players, the ones he's brought in, right? Montreal from Louisiana, Torrance from Louisiana, Trevor Etienne, a guy he recruited, those guys are players. And so if Billy Napier is a system guy, it could be something where Florida fans are going to have to just wait until he gets the personnel to fit his scheme. There is no shame in that. Like I mentioned earlier, that is not a knock against a coach. If you have a formula and it works, you have to get the right pieces to the formula. And along the way, there's going to be some stumbles, there's going to be some ugliness, but you really can't hold a coach accountable until their formula gets put in place. And Florida's team right now, of course, is anything but the formula that Napier wants. But on the bright side, Napier's guys have been showing out and playing really well, which certainly is promising. 3rd down and 3 here for Florida. 2 things I want to show you on this play. One is in the previous play, USF lined up very similarly, where they overloaded to Florida's play side, the strong side, and Florida then ran a play that didn't work super well. But on this play, they're going to make them pay. They get the same exact look, and now they're going to run out to the weak side. They're going to seal this off. The key blocks here, turn the shoulders, very nice. Let's lock up the edge here. And now here comes their corner, who's going to be the guy that they're counting on. USF is counting on to stop this play. And of course, Montreal is going to make him miss. That's what Montreal does. Look at this. Vroom, leverage. He's out of there. Now we're running and make him miss too. Up the sideline, down there for a big gain. The second thing I want to mention about this is Florida is not running any what you would consider to be RPO plays, at least not by the standard of the modern era, where right here, right, if we RPO this, not a play action, but an actual RPO, then this kind of stuff would be wide open. The safety is going to come from over here to cover that. Now, Florida has yet to put this on film, but obviously we should do this, right? You have AR as a running threat. People are overplaying all these running plays. Your team is super good at pass blocking, and run blocking and pass blocking, and your running backs are the best part of your team right now. Mixing in some simple RPOs where you spread the field wide, right? Let's move him further over here by the numbers. That corner's now has a much longer way to run. This safety's sitting up high. So again, imagine now we start him here. Safety's up high. We're gonna run the same exact play. Same play, right? We have a bigger hole for this to work, and we also can pull this back and run this RPO where as soon as he crashes, this ball gets thrown right over here. So food for thought for the future, but for now, Montrell does his thing, picks up a big gain at an important time for Florida because Florida, of course, is losing. So we showed you Florida and Anthony Richardson checking to a really good play earlier, a running play touchdown. Well, he's going to give one back here. We go to the same set we just basically ran this weak side run out of. We're one-on-one over here. And of course, what do we know? We know that USF is loading up the box and that they are not covering shorter. We know this to be true. So AR checks. You can't see him, but he actually checks right before this. He checks out of the play. And now Florida just overloads all this stuff here so that we can throw this one-on-one route. Now, first and goal, when you're running for 8.1 yards a carry, do I want to be, if I'm a quarterback, I don't care what the box looks like, right? Sometimes you ignore the numbers. If you're running all over a team, I don't care if they put all 11 guys in there. I mean, I do care in that case, throw it to the open guy. But in this situation where there's 10 guys there, right, if you're dominating a team, just run it. It's the safer option. The higher expected value is going to come with risk and reward, and there's almost no risk running the football relative to throwing the ball. And if you're gaining those yards, take the no-risk path. It's the higher EV play. Instead, AR checks this because it's one-on-one, and he wants to throw this fade route, and this is obviously a horrible ball. It's unfortunate. Again, you have a bigger, stronger guy, but this is nice coverage. This is nice coverage, right? He's staying on top. He's making a lot of contact within 5 yards. He's making this very hard for shorter. And now this ball, if you're going to throw it, it's got to be high and back here. He's got to clear this guy. He's got to go high back here where Shorter can then use his leverage, right? Shorter's creating leverage here. Despite the fact this guy's going to jam him, Shorter's going to create this leverage so that when the ball is going to come up on the high point, he's going to separate and reach for it. Right? He's going to reach for it up here. And that's going to be a touchdown. Ball's got to be good, but generally fades are safe throws because you're going to throw them out of the back of the end zone or the side of the end zone if they're not caught. This is a really bad throw on first and goal, the worst of all scenarios. It's a pick by USF and a touchback. And now all of a sudden Florida is down and the clock is ticking. So do I want AR to check to that play when you're dominating a team running? No, I do not. Of course, if I'm Napier, I say, hey, look, in general, we want to follow the numbers, right? That's the meta strategy. If a team is going to load the box, we pass. But when we are decimating a team with our run game, you just keep running the football. Thanks to the gift by USF, well, Florida earned the pick, but again, you could ask why USF wasn't just running. Florida's back in business now, 2nd and 7. They've learned their lesson. Look at this. We saw this formation, pretty much the same exact thing on 1st and 5. And now let's see what Florida elects to do because this is pretty much the same look. These guys are obviously here because Florida was on the 5-yard line, but not too different. And now we're going to say, let's let Trevor eat. Here he comes, right? Look at this. Just look at this. Look how nice this is. I want you to watch this. This is your center. This is your center. Pulling all the way across, right? Come on, Kingsley. Get out there. Flying out there. Come on, Kingsley. Come on. Get him. Get him. Boom. Clear him out. And there goes ETN, right? That's great stuff. So again, as pedestrian as the passing game is, the running game is anything but. 2nd and goal now. And if you guess this is going to be in Trevor Etienne run, you're correct. Again, Florida's going to do what they do. Let's put trips guys to the short side and tell you, of course, you're running the football. I don't mind this because, again, you have to put guys out here, right? I'm just going to come back to the same thing I've said before. If you're going to do this, why don't you just put 3 guys way the heck over here? Make those guys go so far out of the play, they have no chance of helping. But that's not what Florida wants to do. They want to run stuff in tight sets, so whatever, fine. Doesn't matter in this case because there's really nothing USF could do about it, despite the fact that they only committed 2, right? I gave you a funny little tease earlier that if I'm USF, I'm not even going to put 3 guys over here. Well, they didn't. They didn't put 3 guys over there, right? They kind of did. He's here on the edge guarding this gap, and they're hoping their D-line can hold up. But when your D-line gets eviscerated, you have no more defensive tackles in the play. right, then what's going to happen here is you have to tackle him before he gets in. But he's been in the gym. He's been squatting heavy, right? Don't tackle me. Hey, you're a good player, Levin. You've been a nice game. You're not tackling me. Get off of me. She's happy. Everyone's happy, right? We're all happy. The touchdown, and Florida takes the lead. After a completely failed hold by USF on the field goal from a kicker who had already made a 50-yarder earlier, Florida is in the victory formation, and they will get the win. Seemingly a miracle if you were at the Swamp watching this game live, and probably still a miracle if you watched it on television. Either way, Florida does escape with a W, and we'll take it. You'd much rather have a win than a loss. Even if it felt like a loss, it wasn't actually a loss. Now, we cannot say what this means for the future, right? One important thing about film study early on is we're in week 3. I can show you what the film shows. We can raise some fun philosophical conversations, what we've done together. But I can't tell you for sure what's going to happen yet because there's a million factors that we need more data on, right? We need different personnel down the road. We need to see more things happen. We need at least an entire season and then a second season with different players in the system here to see what's really going on. If this were year 3, if I'm evaluating this in year 3 on film, I'd be telling you right now, this is not good enough and we're not going anywhere. And, we're done. It's time for a regime change. But this is week 3. There are many, many things that have to happen, and we have to let those things play out. Now, the film will tell the story. Reactively, we can look at this film, and we're going to know what happens. Does Florida build a good football team? If so, it's going to show on film, or do they not? So right now, Florida's team on film, their offense, not good, right? Great running team, great running backs. Passing is horrible, terrible, way behind, antiquated, regressive, not confident, not good, not SEC level. Can that get fixed? We're going to find out. But I will be here every step of the way to show you what Florida puts on film every single week. So you can check into the channel and take a look at the progress or regression or neutrality of what happens. But again, the film won't lie. It's going to tell us all season long what this Florida offense becomes and what it puts out there. As always, thank you for watching this video, and thank you for paying attention to the channel and supporting the podcast as well as our efforts to bring you this film review. I'm James from the Gator Nation Football Podcast, and I will see you after the Tennessee game.